I'll start by giving you information about the Foreign Language and Area Studies Fellowship, the FLAS, and then Todd will speak about the Foreign Awards, and he'll also delve a little bit into the Critical Language Scholarship, the Benjamin Gilman International Scholarship, and the Freeman Asian Program. So what we'll do is that we'll give our presentations, and then at the end we'll have time for Q&A. Okay, I'll start with the FLAS Fellowship. So these are funds provided by the U.S. Department of Education, and the purpose is to encourage the study of less commonly taught modern foreign languages in combination with area studies or international aspects of professional studies. What does that mean, less commonly taught languages? These are languages that students don't encounter until they get to the university. For the government, they are languages that are commonly taught, meaning that they go to primary school or high school, and they learn languages like Spanish, French, German. Those are considered common languages. Less commonly taught languages are those like Portuguese, Nahuatl, Yucatec Maya, Haitian Creole, Cachiquel, etc. That it is not until they get to the university and they study anthropology or any other discipline, and they need these languages to do research or further their interest in, deepen their interest in the region. So the U.S. Department of Education gave the LAII, the Latin American Iberian Institute, these funds to promote languages, less commonly taught languages from Latin America. There are other FLAS eligible centers that are in other areas of the world, but us here at UNM, we only give them in Latin American languages. So for the academic year, we offer FLAS Fellowships to UNM students for the languages that we offer here, which are Nahuatl, Portuguese, Quechua, and Yucatec Maya. For summer, the students can study other languages because the purpose is to study these languages here in other programs or in Latin America. But I'll get more into that later on. The other purpose of FLAS is that while you're studying these languages, you're also learning about the region. And it's what they call area or international studies, meaning that you are required to take courses that will teach you about the history, society, economic, any aspect that you're interested in. So we have two types of FLAS competitions here. We have the academic year fellowships that are open to both graduate and undergraduate students. Graduate students, they receive a $20,000 stipend for the academic year and up to $18,000 in tuition and fees and health insurance. Undergraduate students, they receive a $5,000 stipend and up to $10,000 in tuition and fees. And the purpose of the academic year FLAS is mainly to support coursework, especially on the undergraduate level. For the graduate level, it can be for coursework. It depends what level you are in graduate studies. It could be used for coursework, dissertation research, or dissertation writing. The only thing with the academic year is that it has to be for the entire academic year. You cannot receive FLAS for one semester. So you're committed to do FLAS for fall and spring.
So not the summer?
The summer, it's a separate competition.
Oh, okay.
So the second type of FLAS is the Summer Fellowships. And then the purpose of the Summer Fellowship is to do intensive language training during summer in a domestic or an international program. And what I didn't mention for the academic year, it's to do coursework here at UNM or through an UNM approved study abroad program. And you can work with GEO to see what will be those programs. And then for summer fellowships, you can decide to do a US-based program with other universities or go to Latin America. For example, our students who are interested in Quechua, they go to Cusco and study it during the summer. So the fellowship for summer offers the same amounts for both graduate and undergraduate students. It offers a $3,500 stipend and up to $5,000 in tuition and fees. And depending whether or not we have enough funds left in our account, we may provide up to $1,000 to support airfare. Yes, and one important thing to say about summer fellowships is that they're open to CNM students and NMSU students, New Mexico State University students, and other minority serving students. They can apply through us to go to Latin America or to any other FLAS eligible program through us. So the eligibility for these fellowships, since they are, sorry that it's so small, since there are federal funding, applicants, they must be US citizen, nationals, or permanent residents. We cannot give this funding to international students, unfortunately. During the academic year, they have to be full-time UNM student in any discipline, but focusing on the study of Latin America. These fellowships for the academic year, they're open to current UNM or incoming UNM student. And graduate students, they can propose to study these languages at the basic level, but they must show that they have advanced level skills in another Latin American language that for most of our students is Spanish. For undergraduate student, any UNM current or transfer student is eligible to apply for this funding. At the undergraduate level, there is a restriction that the student must be at least at the intermediate level or second year by the start of the fellowship. So if you're an undergraduate student and you're interested in the academic year beginning in fall 2024, by the end of spring you have to have, or by the end of summer, you have to have the first year of the language covered, reach that proficiency either by taking courses here, or if you are exposed to the language in a structured way, but you have to show that you have that first year knowledge. And as I mentioned, for summer, CNM and NMSU students are eligible to apply for the summer fellowships. And the purpose of the FLAS is basically to help students achieve proficiency between the levels that are really crucial is intermediate to advanced. Yes, graduate students, they can start at the basic level, but if you get to near native fluency, you're less of a priority. And then, sorry, let me go back. And then if you are a heritage speaker of the language, you can apply for the funding, because heritage speaker, they speak the language at home, but they don't study the language. And the purpose of FLAS is to learn everything about the language, the grammar, etc. And also, if you're a native speaker of the language, you're not eligible to apply FLAS for that language. So if you are awarded the funds, you are required to register full-time. That means you have to take each semester 12 credits if you're at the undergraduate level, or 9 credits if you're at the graduate level. You have to take 1 language course each semester, 1 in fall and 1 in spring. And you have to take an area studies course, which is at least 3 credit course, and you have to take that course, an area studies course each semester, 1 in fall and 1 in spring. And also there is a pre and post fellowship language assessment, which is basically a series of yes/no questions that the U.S. Department of Education has for everybody who has FLAS. And then at the beginning of the fellowship, you meet with your instructors and the person will assess your skills. And then at the end of the fellowship, you'll be asked the same questions, and the purpose is that you'll have more yeses at the end of the tenure of the FLAS than at the beginning. And that's how they measure progress, especially in the speaking skills of the language. Then you'll also be required to fill out a post-fellowship report, and that is filled out directly with the U.S. Department of Education. And the report will ask you to provide information about all the courses that you took during the academic year. And then the U.S. Department of Education, they do post-graduation career tracking. We don't manage that, they manage it directly. And it's basically an online survey that they send every 2 years to students who graduated from a program. And the students are required to complete that 4 times after completing their degree.
Thank you so much.
So the requirements for summer, they're similar. The only thing is that rather than taking courses here and having a required course and area studies course, you enroll in an intensive language program. What is an intensive language program? It's basically a program that has the equivalence to 1 academic year here at UNM. And how they make sure that it's intensive, and it has, they do that by the length of the program. It has to be at least 6 weeks. And there's a minimum contact hours. So classroom instruction to qualify for intensive language program is for intermediate beginning or first and second year of the language, it's at least 140 hours of classroom instruction. And then for advanced, it's or third year or above, it's 120 hours of classroom instruction. And that's the equivalence of a whole year, academic year in summer. So with the summer FLAS, you also need to meet with your language instructor to do the pre-post fellowship proficiency evaluation, that yes or no question that I mentioned before. And you have to also submit a post-fellowship report where you will let them know the grade that you took, that you obtained in that intensive language program. And they also do post-graduation career tracking, the same thing. Every 2 years, they'll send you an online survey. And it's completed 4 times after you complete your degree. And so the application materials. So there is an online form, application form that you will find at this webpage link that I'm providing here. If you go to our website under student funding, you'll find the link for the application form there. And then in that application form, it will ask for basic information about yourself, and you will also need to submit unofficial transcripts, your CV or resume. And you also need to submit with the application a 2 to 3 double space page, which will be your statement of purpose. You will, if you're applying for summer, you will also be required to submit a budget. Then, in addition to that, you have to secure 2 letters of recommendation that your faculty recommenders will send directly to us. And the application form has the information, the email information where they can send those letters. One of the letters has to address your language skills. If you're at the graduate level and you're proposing to study the language at the beginning level, you will have to talk to a language recommender of another language that can attest to your abilities to learn a foreign language. If you're applying for, let's say you're applying for an advanced NAWDL FLAS, so you have prior knowledge of the language, I recommend you get a letter from your language instructor who can attest to, the progress and how successful you are in studying that language you're applying for. We also require for you to submit a need analysis form that you can that you have to go to UNM Financial Aid Office. There's a form where you request that, and you just put our email information, and they'll send it to us. And that's basically it for the application of materials, and it's basically the same things you need to provide for academic year and the summer applications. There are two different application forms, one for academic year and one's for summer. With the difference that for summer, you need to submit a budget information so we know how much your intensive language program costs and when that program is happening. I tell my students that one of the key pieces of the application is really the statement of purpose, because it's basically what your justification for obtaining this funding. You have to let the reviewers know what is the intended language of study. That has to be clear in the statement of purpose. And you have to let them know the relevance of that language to your academic training and career goals. You also need to include information about your current interests, especially your link to Latin America. Graduate students applying for the language at the beginning level, they should make clear there that you have advanced level knowledge skills of Spanish or any other Latin American language. And you have to let them know about the expected role that the chosen language and program of area studies will play in furthering your academic and professional plans. It has to be coherent. You have to make a coherent presentation of yourself about your interest in Latin America and how these funds will help you further academic and professional goals. And if you're applying for the summer one, you should include a statement about your choice of the summer program, why you're choosing that program, why you're choosing that country, etc. So when we evaluate these applications, we have a series of priorities. We evaluate the applications, the number one priority is academic merit. So your GPA, your grades, it's super important. And also the letters of recommendations that says you are a great student. We also look at the relevance of studying that language and the relevance of Latin American studies or your interest in Latin America, and how is that tied up with your academic and career goal. When we have a tie between two equally qualified students, then we analyze need. So if we have two students that are rated the same, then the person who has most financial need, that person will receive the fellowship. And we also give extra points to students who state that they're interested in, for students from the professional schools and STEMs, and students who are interested in a career that it's in government service, business, education, and nonprofit sectors. These are areas of national need that the government has identified for this funding. In the application deadline, we need to receive everything no later than Wednesday, February 21st by 11:59. I was going to say midnight, but it's 11:59. Because at midnight, the application portal will close. And here's my contact information. I'm always available. If you have questions about the fellowship, the application process, or even if you want to meet with me, a bounce idea, about the statement. I'm happy to do that. I'm here to help you succeed in this process. Yeah, I hope you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.